Hi, this is Mike Lodge. I am the business advisor. Thanks for coming in and sitting down and joining me. Hope you have your cup of coffee. I got my cup of coffee. I'm ready to go. And we're going to talk about some things that have been bugging me and keep bugging me every single day. Right now, as I'm talking to you here in South Carolina, it's 36 degrees. It's bloody cold. And not only do we have the cold, but we have a wind. So we have a chill factor. So it says 36 degrees, but feels like 26. That's what we're facing today. What can you do except live with it and say, gosh, this is nice fresh air. Take a deep breath. Feels good. Listen, yesterday I went on a rant. Yes, I rant. And let me tell you, I rant really good. I am probably a professional ranter. And so I ranted yesterday on fees, various fees that we see popping up all around. And one of the specific fees that I was complaining about yesterday were these fees that pop up in hotels. And once you know it, when I did that podcast, last night, about 10 o'clock, I was going through my folder of content that I prepare every morning, and there was an article, and it says this: forget Las Vegas Strip resort fees. Here's a new fee to watch out for. And the whole gist of the problem is that hotels are charging these hidden fees. Now, I complained yesterday because they charged me $80 some in fees that had nothing to do with my stay there. Literally zero to do with my stay here. So here's what's happening. It says the White House has targeted the resort fees. Many hotel chains in Las Vegas Strip casinos don't share in their advertising pricing, which is true. Many of these companies, when you get to the checkout stand at the hotel, all of a sudden you see all these fees on there. When they said, oh, free Wi-Fi in your rooms, free this, and they make all these promises, but they fail to tell you about the hidden fees that you get hit with when you get up to the checkout line. So here's what it says. Some companies show a lower number and then tack on a daily fee, often between $30 and $50, for amenities like internet, gyms, pools, and other shared spaces. Now, in the past, all of these things used to be a come along with the fees that you were paying for that room. Now they're nitpicking at if you use a pool, this amount. If you use internet, this amount. If you do, and now it's starting to add up. Now, they say you can't, of course, opt out of paying these fees, even if you don't plan to use these services. So the White House wants hotels and resorts to have to list the full price of your stay, not show you a lower number and then actually charge you more. And so you have these unexpected fees popping up on everything. You have hotel fees that are popping up. You have restaurant fees popping up. You have all of these things popping up. Even in the airlines, you have fees popping up. I don't like it. And of course, I ranted and raved yesterday about this, and I'll do it again just a few minutes now, because I don't like these hidden fees. They'd say, okay, you can stay here for $125 a night, but they don't tell you about the $50 to $80 that they add on onto your room in these hidden fees. So by the time you get done, you have paid sometimes much higher prices than what was advertised. I don't think it's fair, and I think that it's unethical, and I think that we should really argue these fees, because I don't think they're fair. It was not advertised in the fee, in the room price, so we should not have to pay them. And I think we need to argue and protect ourselves as consumers, that these hotels, okay, that's it, I'm not going to pay it. One other thing that bothered me this morning, one of the issues that drives bankruptcy is often medical expenses. Medical expenses have driven a lot of people into bankruptcy. Even though they had insurance, there were still other fees or other costs that were not covered by that insurance. There was a report today, and it said working age Americans are struggling to pay for health care. Even those with insurance reports find there are all these added expenses that are not covered by insurance, and they are weighing down on Americans. And that's one of the big reasons for bankruptcy on personal bankruptcy, is because of medical expenses. And it adds up. Medical stuff is not cheap. It's expensive. Everything's marked up to the high heavens. So we have a problem with Americans at the moment. Healthcare was supposed to be affordable, but the Affordable Care Act didn't do anything. We are still in the same boat. We have insurance. Insurance is paying for, especially those on Medicare. Medicare patients are really getting hit hard on added costs of medical expenses. So we keep talking about how we want the government to be involved in our healthcare, and how senators and congressmen are always saying healthcare is important for everybody. But let me tell you something. Healthcare is a business. And as a business, it goes out and makes money. And unfortunately, it's off of us because insurance does not cover that. If you look at hospitals, if there is anything that wasn't covered by insurance, as soon as you get out of the hospital, that hospital is pounding on you for those added uninsured costs. They are on you. The very day you get home, they're calling you to figure out how you're going to pay for that. They're on you. So we have a healthcare system that needs to be fixed. I have sat in on audits with hospitals, and Medicare and insurance, they come in, they look at all of the expenses, and they say, no, we're not going to pay for that juice. We're not going to pay for that. We're not going to pay for that. And pretty soon they have thousands and thousands of dollars on a patient that has not been paid for by their insurance company or by Medicare or Medi-Cal, whichever it is. So we have an issue with healthcare that we need to resolve. Otherwise, in this moment in time, where the economy is bad, we are all suffering. Your wages are not covering the cost of living. You're in high debt. You've reached your debt limits. Your cash flow isn't sufficient enough to cover all of your expenses. In fact, the money in the bank is down to almost nothing. And by 2023, a good portion of Americans are going to be in a financial situation that is going to hurt them greatly. Even myself, if I look at my receivables on my business, my clients are now 60 and 90 days out in paying me because their cash flow is not strong at this moment also. So we have this, if you want to call it trickle down, I hate to use that term, but listen, when it happens with a client, then it trickles down to you, and then it trickles down to the employees. I mean, it is a situation that Americans in American business are having a problem with at the moment. And it's going to get worse. It is not going to get any better. When you have Americans in so much debt, when you have a nation that is in so much debt, and when you have a nation of politicians who are not even focused on the debt, we have an upside down economy where our debt is higher than the revenue coming in. Our expenses going out is too much. The spending is too much. And that's what's happened with a good portion of Americans too, where they spent so much money and now the cash is almost gone. the debt on credit cards is at the highest amount it has ever been. So you and I have got to sit down and we've got to figure out, how do we manage our money better? And that is by budgeting, and that is by taking the time to really look at our finances better. I know we've done it in the past. We did it through the pandemic. We did it through the high inflationary times, but we still have inflation. We still have a recession going on, and we still have a financial crisis within the American family, and we need to fix it. And that's up to us. Government's not going to fix it, but they can fix the debt, the government debt. Because right now, you and I, on our shoulders, is over $100,000 of government debt that they have accumulated. So what do? Well, you and I are going to do much better in managing our finances. That's all that we can do. Now, to my lecture of the day. Until December 1st, I'm only giving this lecture. Now is the time. If you've had any changes in your life, if you've gotten married, if you have another income coming in, if you have adopted a child, if you have all of these changes that will affect your tax return, you need to sit down with your tax practitioner between now and the end of 2023. You can't do it in 2024 because you've got to make those corrections to your tax issues right now. So if you need to put more money into a 401k plan, if you need to reduce your income, if you have a business and you need to know exactly which way you're going, what you need to do to prepare for the end of 2023 and prepare your tax return, but you need to focus on it now, because what you do now will help your 2023 tax return. If you do it in 2024, too late. You can't do it in 2024. You've got to do it right now in 2023. So you have got to sit down with your tax practitioner and go over all of the changes that has happened in your life. Maybe you have gotten a divorce, or you're going through separation. So you need a separation agreement. You need to have a parenting plan. You need to have a parenting agreement in place so that you know which child you get to have as a dependent. It's all there. That's the legal document for your tax return. So listen, you have changes in your life. We all have had changes in our life. Sit down with your tax practitioner and figure out how that affects your 2023 tax return. Don't wait until 2024. It's too late. If you can make changes now to help you on your taxes, do it now. Okay, that's it for today. This is Mike Lodge. I'll talk with you soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.